Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everyone. Take this second right here, this moment, slice it right now, right now. Or let's go to this one right here, right there. What's wrong? How about this one? This second right there. What is wrong with that moment, your life? Nothing. Think about that for a minute. We're going to talk about that today. Partly living in the moment and how impactful it is. And we're going to see where that takes us. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer once you figure out that living in the moment is it. She is somebody that helps people realize that and so much more. She is an amazing psychotherapist, works with all different individuals from children on up to adults. And she's back with us. Learned so much in the last number of podcasts we've spoken with her. Susie Engel is on the program. How are you doing today?
I am fine, Steve. Thank you. How are you?
Very well, very well. And
Good.
am I getting that right? Do you agree that if you just slice this second right here, what can be wrong with it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a better question. What could be wrong with it rather than what's wrong? Or we could ask what's right. What's right about it or what's okay?
Well, I guess we should say where we're going with it. We're without thinking about the past and without thinking about the present. If you're thinking about this second right now, and you don't have those reference points of then and now, just then in the future, I think it's perfect. There's nothing wrong.
Exactly. I love this. I love this beginning of a conversation, and we don't know where it's going to go because it's moment to moment. And it's also this almost, I don't know the word, almost a calm. It's almost a calm if we're just in this moment. And now
Yes.
we're in another moment. And now we're in and when you said what could be wrong, that's a better question. Or what is right about it? Because you know what's right about it is how we are in this moment. How am I? How are you in this moment? I feel very good. I feel very calm.
Yes. Yes. No, granted.
Not in the past.
That's the game changer. There it is right there. Because we don't have anything to deflect the moment. And I'll share, it was 4 years ago. I met somebody on my journey, and she said to me, "Why don't you ever live in the moment?" And I said, "I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean?" She goes, "You don't live in the moment. You live in the past. You live in the future. You don't live in the moment." And it took me a long time to process that and then work through it and figure it out. And then once I did, over an evolution of time, I was like, whoa, I get it now. Because yes, in this moment, you and I, everyone else, can think about the future. Oh, I got that coming up. Got to deal with that. Well, that's good, but that's not that good. Or you could marinate in the past and think about, oh, what has happened, good or bad,
Yes, yes.
and gets in your way.
Or we could be in this moment and just say, I'm plugged in. I use that term a lot. Like I feel plugged in.
Yep.
I feel this clarity. Or some people say focus. Whatever it is for people, I don't know. So, sometimes we don't have the words. And I used this word last podcast. I said sometimes things are ineffable. We don't have the words to describe it, but for each of us, we might come up with different descriptive words. But it's just being in this moment. And I love this conversation already because if we're too far, I mean, listen, we all have lives to live. We all are planning ahead, or we have long-term goals, or whatever that is. We all have a to-do list. That's okay. But if you and I are going to have a conversation that is going to benefit this audience, then I think it's rather respectful, or maybe not respectful, but important for us, more important for us to be in this moment for the audience, for our sakes, for our health.
100%. And why don't we look at the past and at the future, what it can do to you and for you.
Yes.
So, is it true that if you think about the past, that can bring on depression, potentially, things that have happened? If you think about the future, that's anxiety. You're anticipating what is to come or what could happen. And now you're not in the moment. Now you've got one foot here, you got one foot there, and now you're not really here where it's a perfect space.
That's right. That's right. Well, and if we're in the, I definitely understand that if we are um, not in this moment, we are someplace else. Where that is, it could be the past, it could be the future, it could be like I'm out of myself.
Hmm.
There's a lot of options. And what happens is whether we I don't want to oversimplify that if we're in the past, we're going to bring on depression. If we're too far in the future, we're going to bring on anxiety. Although I
Sure.
think that there's a lot of research that can back that up, but it's probably way more complicated. And maybe this is a conversation that we're going to have from time to time here on this podcast series. But I will say that the one issue that is for sure, and you nailed it, is if we are in the past or we're too far in the future, we're missing out.
We're missing out. That's a perfect, beautiful description. And so is what you said before, clarity. You have clarity when you're in the moment because there's nothing that is deflecting your mind. You're enjoying now. And if you look to the future, and I think they do studies, research polls on this, somewhere around 92% of the things that we worry about never transpire. You are wasting
Absolutely.
your time. It's just, I'm not even going to go into detail, but I was concerned about something that I was worried about that could potentially, be a health issue. I was worried about it.
Yeah.
Guess what? I was worried about nothing. I was worried and I knew it. My intuition said, take take a pause, take a moment. You don't need to worry about that. Worry about it then if you need to worry about it. I didn't even give it a thought. I was like, hey, what happens, happens. And then sure enough, everything was fine. I didn't even need to give it that much space in my mind. And I think that rules for most things in life, that the things that we worry about don't even transpire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Granted, if we are in the moment and we do have to have an attention drawn to something less pleasant than this moment,
Mhm.
that's true. So we have to find a way to cope with that when we are in that moment, but we are not in that moment. And for us to miss out on and seriously, like when I am in the moment, I do feel I can feel within myself very differently than if I'm anticipating something that's not happening now
Mm,
or that I'm perhaps rehashing from the past.
mm,
And I know when I go inward and just sense or get that felt sense of what's happening within me, it's very unsettling compared to being in this moment now.
Does it feel like for you, if you, and again, to your point, there are things that, we have to be concerned with, in the future, whatever it is. But does it almost feel like for you, if you think about the future or the past, it's almost like you got one foot outside the door?
Yeah, I think that you mentioned that too. If we have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, then we are not, we're neither here nor there. And they're probably like children's stories that represent that. I mean, I'm trying to evoke in
Mm,
my mind, like, what is this? Oh, it could be the Billy Goat's Gruff, like the grass is always greener.
mm.
Well, what are we going to miss out on? I don't know what the children's stories are, but I imagine that if we're neither here nor there and we're straddling these moments, again, I'm going to say the words we're missing out. And that's a terrible loss. It's bad enough that we have experiences that are imposed upon us that cause loss,
Yeah,
and we have to come to terms with that. But for us to have the empowerment or the state of mind to say, wait a minute, I have to reel myself in and get back into this moment, that's something we're all capable to do.
how do you do it? How is that done? Is there, I'm not going to say a magic scenario, secret sauce to get into the moment, to stay in the moment. I don't even have that answer. The only thing that comes to my mind is, if it's the future, worry about it when you need to worry about it. Worry is not even the right, that's not even the right word. So you shouldn't be worrying. See, what did I just do?
Yeah, yes, yes, yeah.
That was
I get
bad.
programmed.
I'm
That's kind of
programmed.
society. That's like society's like subliminal messages to us or family messages or whatever.
Oh, I
But
hate myself for
listen,
saying that, Susie.
oh,
That
don't
that
hate
that was just
yourself.
like, no, but that was wrong. It was like, why?
Yeah,
What do you? Even if it's, okay, I'm going food shopping later. Got to do that. All right.
yes,
And that could be under the category of, I'll worry about that later. You're not worrying about it. I'll work with it
accomplish
later.
it.
Accomplish it.
I'll
Right. Deal with
accomplish
it.
it later.
Even
Yeah.
saying deal with it sounds like it's,
Oh, no,
laborious.
I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Deal with it is a very societal, judgmental, dismissive. I mean,
Yeah.
people speak like that flippantly,
Yeah.
and it's damaging. It's
Yeah.
very disregarding toward people and maybe what their values or priorities or
Totally.
needs are. It's not good. And it's really, this is a great part of our conversation right now for people to be aware of that, because there's a lot of, people say whatever,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
also is very,
Mm,
it's not whatever.
it's
So
dismissive.
for
That's
me,
true.
when I hear somebody say whatever, and I don't mean to go off on a tangent because I want to get back to the other topic that you were addressing. When somebody says whatever, it's kind of like, or it is what it is. It's kind of like saying, well, accept the unacceptable, and that's not okay. Like, that's not sustainable. We
Mm,
have to plug in and address whatever we need to address for ourselves and for our health. But to get back to what you were saying, how do you do it? So I'm going to take that personally. How do I do it, Susan Engel?
please.
I I think that there is a skill, a life skill, to prioritize and to be able to
Mm,
say, if I stay in this moment, I can accomplish, I can do, I can feel what I want to feel, I can be aware of all five senses, I can maybe set out to do what I really want to accomplish. That's fine with me in this moment. But for me to have the strength, and I don't mean like strength like I can lift strength,
mhm.
but really the resolve to say I can prioritize and not be interrupted, because this is my priority right now. This is my boundary. And then we do strengthen the ability to focus or stay in the moment, and that lengthens. And maybe it's a little bit intermittent. That's okay. But it strengthens or lengthens. And before you know it, you've been immersed, or I've immersed myself. Let me keep it in the proper tense. I've immersed myself in something that I've prioritized for myself, and probably received within myself fulfillment.
Do you feel that, let's look at the
That makes
future.
sense.
It The fulfillment I totally get.
Okay.
And I want to add another word. and tell me how this resonates with you. Embrace it. So
Beautiful.
things in the future we might be anticipating, maybe they might not be as pleasant as other things,
Mhm.
but to look at them and embrace them, and I don't want to say enjoy them, because but look at it for what they are. And I don't want to say with the rose colored glasses on, but look at it as a positive of, I'm going to get, let's say it's a challenge in the future,
Mhm.
to know that you're going to go over that speed bump of challenge, and then to say to yourself, hey, I did it. All right. That I have the opportunity to go through that, and then I'm going to be stronger for it. So look at things in a different way, as opposed to, oh gosh, that's coming up. Oh, I got to deal with that. Oh boy. And now I'm trying to live in the moment. Like, I'm still thinking about that in the future over there. It's inevitable. I know it's happening. To look at it in a different frame, so it supports you better.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's interesting when you were talking, a word came to me and it just flew out of my mind, but it'll come to me. There's another word that was coming to me, and it wasn't quite acceptance, but it wasn't quite embracing. It was, oh, it was like the concept of handling it, coping, being with it, or being, you know, not
Accepting.
acceptance. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that,
That's what I'm
you know,
getting.
but
That's
but it
screaming.
isn't, it isn't, um, it isn't, it's like this sense of being capable, the sense of being capable to, I don't know whether it's experience things or figure things out and still be whole, I think is just a beautiful way to maybe get in touch with ourselves. I mean, I don't mean to get all off track about this, but staying in the moment is enriching.
It really is. And what I'm seeing from you is the stuff that we concern ourselves with in the future. Once you've been through a number of things, I believe you just build that resilience to know that it's going to be okay no matter what.
Well, I remember going through certain moments, and I can't remember if it was like during high school or the first semester of college, or somewhere around there. It could have even been middle school, but I just remember saying, wait a minute, I've this is very familiar to me and it's unpleasant. And I have to be able to look at this through a different lens and be able to say, why would I put myself through this thought process that ultimately is unproductive and
Mm.
ultimately distracts me from what I want to be doing and getting back to prioritizing? And that is my method of being able to stay in the moment. I'm not talking about prioritize, like you have to make a list and number that. No, I'm talking about experientially
Hmm.
just saying right now, for my sake, this is my focus, and I will not be interrupted,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. And you said the word before, boundaries. What's important to you? And I'm going to have to think about this and process it for a bit.
Yeah.
But you said the word unpleasant, thinking about things that are in the future. There could be some things that they could be labeled unpleasant. And I'm trying to think of things in my future, whatever. And we all got stuff going on, life. Are they really unpleasant if you look at them
Great
in a
topic.
different way?
Let's put it this way. I love where we're headed with this. I just think this is exciting. I hope the audience thinks it's exciting. Nothing is binary. Emotions are not good or bad, are not positive or negative. Experiences don't have to be pleasant or unpleasant. We can put them all in a bin of experiences. And if we're experiencing the experiences, so now this is just like silly of me to word it this
No,
way.
but I got you. I know exactly where you're going.
If we are in an experience and we have enough of a foundation or enough of a sense of self, then we don't even have to judge whether it's good or bad or whether it's negative or positive.
Yep.
And the whole feelings thing, emotions, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of maybe millions of ways to describe emotions. Like in Alaska, the Eskimo tribes have so many words or symbols for snow. You know, if you think about it, how could they be good or bad if they're informing us? How could our body signals, if we are getting tension, or, you know, some people it's always in the stomach, or I feel a little choked up. How could that be good or bad if it's informing us and saying, hey, Susie, pay attention. We're trying to get a point across to you. And I can go inward and be plugged in and aware of my inside, aware of my outside.
But when you have that awareness, the future items that some may look at being unpleasant aren't unpleasant anymore. And I don't want to be that person that, you know, somebody calls out and says, oh, you have the rose colored glasses on. You always have the glasses half full. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's positivity taken from everything, no matter what it is. You have a doctor's procedure coming up. Some may say, well, it's going to be uncomfortable, unpleasant, it's going to hurt. Or you could look at it as, hey, you know what? I'm moving my life forward. I'm getting that done. On to the next thing. Or, you know, I have to go to court to deal with something. Well, how much better is it going to be on the other side of that once you get that off your plate? So it's really not unpleasant. It's a positive thing when you're moving forward. I do want to go back to, and I'm guilty of saying this. It is what it is. I used to be guilty of saying that. I don't say that anymore so
now
much.
Now you really won't say it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it does slip out. But to dissect it for a second, I don't view that so much as a negative or dismissive statement. I look at it more as I can only control what I can control. So when you say it is what it is, it's something that has been established. This is what's going on. I can't change it. And if I try to change it, it's futile. Why am I even bothering trying to change it? And you just accept it. I can't change things. I can't worry about things I can't change. That's I get from it is what it is.
Then I'd rather you say, I can control what I can control, and I am not held back by things I can't control. I'd rather you say that.
I agree.
Because I can only say when I am in conversation, like if you and I were together having coffee or talking about whatever it is, not on this podcast, and something came up and you said, it is what it is, I can give you the context of why I believe people say that. Because, you know, back here on the couch, you know, a lot of people will say, well, it is what it is. And it's within a context of I'm accepting something that's unacceptable. And maybe you don't use it in that context, but over here,
I totally understand it. And
yes, it's a common thread, and I'm a stickler for it.
I got you. And you're right.
And
I agree.
I will say, what do you mean? And then the might say, client might say, well, this person's rage in my life, da 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 da. I mean, I'm not even going to
Picking
give an
anything, right?
example because I don't want to rile people up, but I did work with somebody, and very accomplished client, talking about a significant other, doesn't matter which gender is which gender.
Mm-hmm.
And this significant other was driving a car with children in the car. And when that partner was driving and felt a little bit offended by another driver, that driver would veer toward that lane, or veer toward this lane. And the client is telling me how alarming that is and how scary it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I was listening, and the client said, well, it is what it is. And I said, what I say, it sounds like you're accepting something that's not acceptable.
And that's unacceptable.
What is that? What is that about you? What's going on? I didn't say, what is that about you? I said, what's happening right now? And it turned out that there was a deep fear of abandonment and being alone, and accepting the unacceptable because she or he was with that person.
So, we're going deep here. Was she, this person, afraid to say something to the spouse, significant other, for fear of them getting angry, judgment, and potentially, I'm going way deep here, of that person, all right, well, I'm out of here, and fear of abandonment. So they would hold that inside and not even say anything.
Right. And I really don't think that would have been the scenario.
No, but in the subconscious mind, yeah.
This client, successful, adept so now I'm doing the gender thing, adept at her profession, but didn't have the voice for whatever reason.
But
so,
it sounds
we're
like
but this is our moment right now.
But this is
it is what it is.
What a lot of people deal with. Why didn't she say something, and why did she just accept the unacceptable in this instance? Because it sounds like she has a fear of abandonment. Mm-hmm. So if I rock the boat with the other person, in her mind, deep seated, would it ever happen? Probably not. But she's afraid that could be the camel that breaks the straw's back, or the straw that breaks the camel's back, where that person will say, you know what, that's it. I'm done with you. We're over. We're finished. So that deep-seated fear makes her accept the unacceptable, and it is what it is. And I see it that way. In a different.
Well, it's fear-based.
It's fear-based.
Totally fear-based.
100%.
It's fear-based, and it's at her expense.
100%.
And guess what? If the guy did leave, feel that freedom.
At the moment, no, but yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
But listen, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
No, but
but I think it's very important to listen to our language.
Okay. And a final thought, because I was actually going to go there. It is what it is. Now, I don't always view it in accept the unacceptable, but completely true. And I probably have said it is what it is in that context. But the other context where a situation presents itself and it can't be controlled, so you just roll with it. I almost always want to say that, well, I can't control it, so I'll just deal with it. But what am I saying right there? I'm using the word can't. And you reframed it in a different way. So the language, I'm already speaking from a place of negativity and lack by saying, well, I can't control it. It's even being mindful of the language that we use.
Absolutely. These nuances. And this is a conversation for our future as well.
Mm,
I have conversations with people and I say, "Oh, did you ever think of wording it this way?" And people say, and I'm talking about here, not I don't talk like this to family and friends,
sure.
but clients. And clients will say, "Oh, I do. I say that. I say that." And then and then I say, "How do you say it?" Which is wonderful. And they say it in a totally different way that sends a very different signal, a very different message
Yeah.
to the receiver. And
Hmm.
it's the nuance of language that is such a gift to us.
There's a whole podcast in that alone, and things that we're speaking to our subconscious, and it's listening. And one of my I usually say this, and I've reframed it, where I can't wait to have that steak tonight. I can't wait to get together again. You're telling your subconscious, you're telling yourself, wait, wait, instead of saying, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
Yeah.
The
That's a good
little
example.
little
Yeah.
nuances. Well, we're out of time.
It goes so fast. I
I
say
know.
that every
I know.
time. But it's so nice discussing these things with you, Steve. Thank you.
Same with you, Susie. And you gave me different views of a lot here. But you know what? It was wonderful living in the moment with you.
Thank you. And
Yeah. How do we?
you as
How does
well.
somebody else live in the moment with you? How do they find you?
Yeah, really, like reach out through my website. It's Susan Engel, SusanEngel hyphen LCSW.com.
Yep. Super simple. Start the conversation. Start the path to changing your life. You can do stuff virtually as well. And I
Yeah, let's do
am.
a big virtual Zoomcast together with questions and answers.
I would love to do that. I would like. I'm looking forward to meeting with you next time.
I thank you. I do too.
All right. Thanks. Be well. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.